Hi, I'm Sharon. Let's talk. Last time I posted a video on my YouTube and my other social medias, I think it was Instagram. So I was wondering, how often do you allow your friends to kind of like not check in, or if you've tried to check in and they've kind of like not replied or not found time? How long do you kind of like allow that to happen? Like, what's kind of like the time that you give a person to kind of like do their thing, and then come back and like check in as a friend to kind of like, I don't know, like, let's just say, how long do you take to reach out to your friends to kind of like keep maintaining the friendship? Because personally, I believe that you still have to maintain your friendship just like you maintain your relationship, because it's still a relationship you're having with somebody, and you still have to do something to kind of like keep keep up with that person or maintain that friendship, excuse me, that you have with the person. So how long do you give some people, like, time wise? I'm not saying there should be a scale of time as in 6 months, 10 months, whatever, like, but do you have a limitation? Do you allow people to just come back whenever they want to come back? Say they take 2 years and they've not spoken to you, they don't even, like, check in, but you try to check in, you try to offer, let's go for coffees and let's go for a meal and catch up and everything. You try to offer all of this stuff and they don't kind of like respond, or they don't have the time to come and do that. Like, put aside all the responsibilities. We all have responsibilities. I understand most people have children and most people don't. But say you was in a situation, because I'm just going to give you a situation of mine as an example. Say you are so close to somebody, and that somebody that you're very, very close to, you literally spend so much time with them, like more than once a week, or like more than once every 2 weeks, comparing to other people. So you actually, personally, I would consider that person a friend, and not just an acquaintance, because let's be honest, there is acquaintances, and there is acquaintances that people will just spend time with, but they don't know so much about them. But I believe that when you meet a person, you come from acquaintances to becoming friends. And so if you feel like you've jumped that person and skipped this stage of like acquaintance and you become friends, and you like meet so often to the point that you all know each other's kind of like problems and situations and everything, and you help each other, support each other, you're actually friends. So, and then say you were all single, and then one of you gets in a relationship, and so again, this is my situation, and the person gets in a relationship, they get in a relationship, they don't find time to check in when you check in on them. Like, you're always the one that's checking in, and you're always the one offering to go for coffees, you're always the one, like, I don't know, trying to FaceTime, and the other person doesn't think about it or anything. How often are you gonna allow that to happen to you, for you to kind of like think that, okay, maybe this person doesn't want to kind of like be friends anymore? Because I think as a person, I reach a point where if I'm over, it would make me feel like I'm overdoing something. If I'm the one that's kind of like doing all the asking, I'm the one offering to go for coffees. Hey, I can come closer to you if you want, or I can come to your house if you want. If that's uncomfortable for you, honestly, you can have friends, but it doesn't mean that everybody should know where you live, or not where you live, but like, you may not want people to know where you live. It's not that they shouldn't, but you may just want your own privacy, your own personal life, and you want to have friends, but they're more than acquaintances, for sure. But you want to kind of like, maybe, you're feeling a bit down, or you've not tidied and stuff like that happens. That happens, and sometimes you just don't want people coming in that environment because you feel like you're going to get judged and stuff. But like, I feel like there should still be a point to where somebody just sits there and being like, okay, I think I'm done. Like, I filled up, the cup is full. I filled it up with so many offers. I've offered to go to theirs. I've offered to go to a coffee shop closer to that area, which makes it more they don't have to lose time in case they have kids or anything, or they're doing overtime and they don't have that much time. So you offering as much as you feel like you can to that person, but they're not responding the way you feel like they should respond. Whereas before they got in that relationship, they were doing so much catching up and this and that. Like, let's meet here, I can meet you at yours and all that. And then say things go bad, or they fall out, or the relationship has ended, that person comes back. And then they want to be exactly like they left. But that's like over a year ago. They've not tried to check in, they've not tried to meet up and catch up. Like, you have to maintain, personally, I believe you have to maintain a friendship. Just like maintain your relationship. Is if you're not just gonna ignore anybody and then just come back like nothing has changed. Like, like we're still like jumpy Humpty Dumpties that we were before you got in a relationship, because it just feels like that person just really doesn't respect you enough, or they don't, I don't know if I want to use respect, but like they don't value your time as much as you value, the time with them. Like, they just don't value you that way. You just, I feel like at that point you just become like, I don't know, I don't even know how to refer it to, because I don't want to use a word that can like be very, not offensive, but like, I'm only saying this just because I have people in my life that have done this to me or are doing this. And this is not like to make anybody feel guilty, but it's to ask how do other people kind of like handle this situation. Because as a person, I feel like once I've done several things to make you feel like, okay, we should meet up, we need to catch up and everything, and you're not down for it. I get that you may be struggling, I honestly understand all of that. And that's why I try to offer so many options, and I'll be like, I'll come to you, or we can meet for 20 minutes. That's, to me, that's more important than not meeting at all. At least let's make a phone call and catch up. But like, I want to know how other people handle their situations, because once I'm done with somebody, I'm done. Like, once I've offered several options and you don't have the time, you've cancelled. Say you've agreed to me, but you've cancelled once, twice, three times, and like, you've not even bothered to reschedule. I feel like that's a different type of disrespect, honestly. That a different type of, like, I don't know, value, like you hold in that person's place. Like, you just, I don't know, useless. I feel like, to me, that would make me feel so useless. And I don't know, like, that person kind of like doesn't see me the way I see them. Because I understand you can refer to somebody as your friend, and they can refer you maybe not as their friend, like as an acquaintance. But to me, if you're an acquaintance, I'm not going to spend that much time with you. And so I'll reach a point where I'm like, okay, so I feel like I've tried, I've done what I can to maintain this. And so I don't know, if this person comes back, if they've done it once, I'm probably going to be like, okay, I'm going to understand you, but you can't do this the next time. You need to try and keep in contact. I can't be the person that you're just jumping back to when things go wrong, and all of a sudden you now have the time, but you didn't have the time. I'm sorry, but girlfriend or boyfriend, whoever you get in a relationship with, like situations and stuff, I don't think they're gonna stop you from like going. Yes, I understand there is people that get controlled and stuff, and they're struggling and stuff like that. But because I'm the kind of person, I'll be like, I'm now going to see my friends, like, let's come back to being in the relationship and all that later when I come back, because my friends actually hold a different type of value, and not to you, because if you've just met somebody, right, they're meant to be special to you. I understand that, and things may progress faster and faster, but still, if you've known that person long enough, they should be still holding like a very special, you should still hold like a different kind of value. Everybody holds a different kind of value to everybody. I'm not saying, oh, the boyfriend should be better or the girlfriend should be better than the friend. I'm not saying that there should be that kind of value, but I feel like there should be. It's a kind of value in the form of respect, that this person has been there for you. You know each other. You've done this and that with this person. You know this much about this person. You need to check in to maintain that friendship and relationship. And so you need to get away from whoever you're dating and be like, I'm gonna go spend a day with my friend. I'm gonna go spend an hour or two with my friend. And I understand people have kids and work and I don't know, they're doing overtime. Like, I understand people have situations, but I don't think there is a situation big enough to ever stop somebody from keeping up with their friends and just, making sure that they're maintaining that friendship. Because I don't think there is anything that can stop you if you wanted to. I feel like people make the choice to not kind of like maintain the friendship but expect it to still be the same like they left it. And I don't know, like, to me it's just not, it does not give me a good vibe about a person. And so I'm the kind of person, and I've done it several times, where I just walk away if I feel like I'm treated like a pawn. I'm just not, I don't know, like, I'm not gonna be there and just be holding a placeholder for you until you get in a relationship, and then once that fails, you just come back, and then I'm holding that place again just because you're scared to be alone. You don't want to be lonely. You need to be with somebody, and then the moment you get another relationship, you just jump right off back and forget about me, and then just come back. Like, I'm not the kind of person. And I think female friends do that more often. I'm not sure about men. I don't know how men do their thing, but like, I've noticed, like, a lot of women will complain about this. A lot of females, like a few of my friends, will complain about the same thing and be like, it's a bit not fair for you to just think it's okay for you to just come whenever when things are failing, but before you didn't find time for when you were, happy and, enjoying your nice good time with that person you're dating and everything. You did not find the time for me, but now things have gone wrong. You're now finding time for me. Like, I feel like there should be a time, like a period where you like should give that person, and if they're just not giving you the same energy back, just cut them off. I feel like it should be just okay to cut them off and not even have to feel guilty. Say you don't want to fully cut them off because of like the history you might have, and like, I feel like we shouldn't let things like that hold us back. But let's just go back to, you don't want to fully lose that person. Just keep them as an acquaintance. Just when they come, don't give them as much time as you did before, because they're just using you just because they don't want to be alone. And keep them to the side. Just associate with them. So yeah, just try to associate with them when you feel like it's okay and fair to you, because I think it's just not fair for people to be treated that way. And obviously, if somebody's not made it clear that they don't want to hang out, or maybe they want to change, like, the kind of way you used to, like, you can always communicate. Say you used to hang with somebody a certain way, but you feel like, okay, that's not benefiting you anymore, you need to kind of like switch up a few things. You could just communicate with somebody and just say, oh, maybe we're not going to hang out as much just because I want to progress, I want to kind of like work on myself and improve and blah blah blah. Somebody will actually understand. But if you just blank somebody and completely ignore them and just expect them to understand your situation, but obviously this is different if it just happens every time somebody gets in a relationship, then that's completely clear what the kind of person is, and it's nothing to do with them trying to progress or whatever, unless you just want to focus on the relationship. But even when you want to focus on your relationship, why forget your friend with not the person you've been hanging with before that relationship happened? Like, all of a sudden they're not as important as they were before, or maybe they were just not important at all. You were just using them for company. Like, all I'm saying is, if you feel like you want to keep that person in your life and you don't want to completely get rid of them, just don't give them as much time as you used to, because it's just not right. To me, it's not right. And as a person, I kind of like fully cut the person off, or I limit my time around the person, because it's just not fair. It really just isn't fair. So yeah, I mean, everybody, you know, runs their life differently. But like I said, I'd like to know how everybody else kind of like deals with this situation. I might be dealing with this situation, you know, maybe the worst way, and I'm just not giving people a chance, because I still understand people struggle. People have, you know, struggles in life where they don't want to meet anybody. I understand all of this, and it might be very hard for people to kind of like communicate that they're struggling and stuff like this. But also, if you're seeing in like certain places doing activities and doing all these other these, I can't speak now. If you're seen in like places doing like all the other things, like say you're going out clubbing, you know, but you don't have time to meet for a coffee for 1 hour. You're going out to, say, whatever, to do activities like that take forever, but you can't find half an hour for the person that you spend so much time with. That just explains it, you know? Like, the person probably just doesn't want you as a friend, but then if they keep coming back, then they're just using you. Just cut yourself away, please. Or I don't know. Like, personally, that's what I'm gonna say, because that's how I feel like that person should be treated, because they're treating you exactly the same. And why should you try to be always a good person and let people just take advantage of you and your time? Like, I feel like, yeah, it's just a way of like respecting yourself. That's how I see it. I respect myself, and I'm gonna cut myself off from you so you don't take advantage of me. So basically, I'm protecting myself. Like, that's how I see it. Anyway, thank you. And I really, really, really would love to know how people actually deal with this situation. I would love to know how people do, like, in a different way, because I'm guessing other people, you know, are probably more understanding than I am. But yeah, this is how I deal with the situation. But yeah, I might not be right, but to me, in my understanding, it just feels like, you know, it's fair. It's not that I've not given people time. I do. So yeah, thank you for listening and letting me ramble on. But yeah, these are things that are really very very, very important to me. And I kind of like value people that I've let in my life. And so if people start to let me down a certain way, I mean, I'm just gonna, you know, cut them off. Yeah, I guess it's not the best thing to always cut people off. But hey, if they're treating you that way, why do you have to always be the good person? Be bad for once. Yeah. Thank you. And yeah, thanks for listening. Subscribe if you want to subscribe. If you don't want to subscribe and you just want to keep coming, that's also okay. You have a choice. But anyway, I would like, yeah, people to kind of like comment and let me know what they think. Am I being rational? I might be, but to me, like, this just is personal. I just feel like it's okay. Anyway, thank you and bye.